Where's the fairness? Now you have men who's now saying that we're leaving the dating scene. We're no longer looking for someone to be compatible with. If I'm going to be called a dog, or a no good father, or a no good man, then I'm just going to go in and be independent. And now women are now saying, the women that I speak to are now saying that they're becoming frustrated because men are no longer giving them attention. But who would if you are calling them dogs? You spend the last 15 to 20 years calling them dogs and no good. And then you have daughters that you raise to tell them that you don't need a man. This is outside of the nature of things. So now she grow up and becomes a feminist to hate men, to say she don't need a man. And this all leads to extinction for us. Well, he did this. He did that. He was toxic. All right. The signs was there, but you refused to look at it. You saw what you wanted to see. You saw what you wanted to see, so therefore you decided to ignore the signs of something that has always been there. A person don't hide themselves unless you choose to see something in that person that is not them. We create false narratives and perceptions of people when we first meet them because we are empty inside and vulnerable. And instead of dealing with shutting down that vulnerability and saying, let me see what this really is that I'm dealing with, we deal with the temporary pleasure. And then we point fingers after it don't go our way. It's not fair. The woman is asking for things that she can't bring to the table. And me personally, I've learned from my relationships, if I ever meet a woman, she's going to have to do for her children what I have done for mine and for herself. I want to see the responsibility. I want to see the love for the child. Meaning that, when you have a child, your life is over with. My life is no longer mine. My life is my daughter's and my son's. So every penny that I struggle for and make today is no longer mine. So my children have trust funds. I have life insurance, not only for my children on myself, but for their mothers on myself. Because when I leave, I want to make sure that they can continue to take care of my children. And when my children get to their age, they can collect what they need to collect. My children must take some type of form of science or business course to get certain elements that I've left behind for them. This is responsibility. My credit score must be at a certain extent, so therefore the person that I connect with, credit score must be at a certain length. It has to be at a point where we both can grow and evolve together. It's not a one-sided thing. There's no such thing as 50-50 in a relationship. When you become one, numbers, it becomes immeasurable. We go into relationships unhappy because we don't deal with things. And I know that if I meet a person who is obese, a person who has high blood pressure, these are all mental health issues. Your physical health has a lot to do with your mental health. A lot of people watching this video don't get sensitive to what I'm saying. Just think about it. Calculate what I'm saying. A person who knows that they're obese, I hear a lot of people all the time who come to me and say, well, I know that I'm overweight and it's unhealthy, and sooner or later I'm going to do something. I'm going to start getting back in the gym. I hear this all the time in my field. So this let me know that you know that this is not good for you. So why don't we take the step to do something about it. This is a mental health issue. This means you don't love yourself. When you can acknowledge that something is wrong that you are doing, and you don't take the steps to make it better, this shows that you don't love yourself. So when a person in this caliber come to me and want to initiate a relationship, I automatically ask questions. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to do that? Because you telling me that you want a man that has high standards, but yet you are a liability to me in your life, even if we do get in a relationship. I'm going to have to throw you in a nursing home or take care of you. I have to make these two decisions. I have to make a decision whether to throw you in a nursing home or take care of you, stop my life and take care of you. That's selfish of a person who wants to be in a relationship with someone who has their life together, have standards and goals, but yet you want somebody to meet your requirements, but yet you're not on the same level and frequency as a person. But then somebody judging you when they're trying to love you and tell you that, look, this is what I want you to do. Because I want us here together. I want to see our children's children grow up, get married. The Jerry Springer, the reality shows, the so-called reality shows, has fucked up our women. And this is the outcome of what we're seeing today. I love our women, but I'm just saying, sometimes you got to check your children when they're out of line every once in a while. And sometimes we got to check ourselves. It's things that I do sometimes where I have to stop and check myself. Because I know I have a lot to lose. I have children that I'm building a kingdom and a dynasty for, and I can't do that making mistakes. The world says, oh, we all make mistakes, we ain't perfect. Yeah, that's just a justification for you to stay in your comfort zone and think within that square. That's all religious thinking. I'm spiritual, it's a difference. Everything I do must align with the journey between myself and my children. Again, our life is no longer ours. We don't deserve to go clubbing after we have children. We shouldn't be around friends whose conversation is vibrating on low frequencies. We have issues going on with ourselves. And this is why we can't deal with ourselves, because we're too busy dealing with other people's issues and breaking and tearing down their household and relationships because we're lonely. It's not right. The mentality and the fairness of the black man and woman in particular needs to be reevaluated. We need to sit back and reevaluate ourselves, because there is something that is engineering this due to a need for depopulation. When a black woman or a woman walk away and say, I don't need my man, there's nothing being reproduced now in the middle. If you take women with the attitude that I don't need a man and you put them in a room all together, in 100 years from now, that room is going to be extinct, because you can't reproduce without your polarity, without the other half, without your significant other. If you take the women who know the nature of themselves between her and her man and put them in a room here, they're still going to be alive. They'll be the ones to save our people. You can't produce saying that you don't need your other half. Day cannot exist without night, and life and death cannot exist without each other. So it's time for us, again, to reevaluate and ask ourselves, is this the mind? Is this our minds that we're operating through when we say we don't need each other? Because now that the man is saying that he don't want to be in a relationship anymore, he's done with the dating, he'd rather be alone. If you don't believe me, go look at the statistics of men who's saying now that they'd rather be single. because they are being held to standards or high standards by a woman who's not bringing anything to the table, but yet they're telling the man to bring something to the table that they can't match. The man is coming to the table, right? Average. The woman is coming to the table, average, with children. But yet she's telling him that this is what she wants. But yet she's bringing more of a, I ain't gonna say baggage, but she's bringing more elements to the table for him to contract with. Even though everything that's in the contract, he didn't produce with her. Back then, our great-great-great-great-great-grandmother and them, they didn't go to college. They didn't make their degree, their husband, but they were married. They lived in peace. They didn't have a big house, but they were with their grandchildren and their children. They were able to sit at the table and get into the minds of their children. So therefore, back then, you didn't have black boys killing black boys. Why? Because the dynamics of the black family back then was different. We didn't care about the so-called American dream, having the big degrees and wanting to match the energy of being a man. Oh, I'm a man. And now on Father's Day, fathers who got children can't even get their due respect. Why? Because women say he's not there. A father, see, look, this is the thing. Once that seed is in you and you're conceived with the seed of that man, he's a father no matter what. He's a father no matter what. Now, if you want to go off and talk about the principles of that man, then that's fine. But the man and the father is two different things. You cannot take away that he's a father. Just like we can't take away that you are the mother. Once that baby successfully arrives into the world, you by right are the mother, and he by right is the father. So what am I saying in all of this? If you say that the men that you are with or having babies with are no good dudes or toxic, then you are no good and you are toxic. It's just that you can't see it because you attract what you are. And this is why you need to stop hanging around toxic friends, giving you advice. Because a lot of you all have lost good men due to the friends that's in your ear that is alone, never been married, and not even taking care of their children. I don't care about your feelings. It is what it is. Everything that I'm saying, go calculate it. Because I deal with facts over feelings. Again, to the women that's watching this, if this don't pertain to you, it's fine. But even to those who are watching this and it pertain to you, this is not, I'm saying this because I love you. It's called tough love. Let's get back into our natural state. And again, if you are what you attract, then build yourself into something else. And whatever you want to attract to yourself, it'll come. So just like that car you drive up the lot, it depreciates. As soon as you have a child, you don't depreciate. But your standards to what the next man do. Because now he have to come into a relationship and take care of a child that's not his. Yeah, we hear women say, well, a good man is a man who can accept a woman and her child, even if it's not biologically his. You're right, but he don't deserve the pressure of you putting standards on him that you no longer have. You saying you want a great man, but you have children. Why not settle for a good man, right, who comes in and respects your child with the same respect that he give you? It's not fair for a man to have to come into a relationship to take care of a child that is not his. It is honorable and respectful for a man to do that. And I tip my hat to men who do it. Who do it toward women who value him. Because it's not his obligation to meet the standards and requirements that you are placing on him when he have to come into a relationship and take on elements that was not produced between you and him.